1 second for that. Okay, everyone. So I'm sitting here and I have my sister Jessica.
That's not Jessica.
Okay, so um, welcome and thank you for coming to the campaign launch for your brother's mayor campaign. Uh, uh, Tell him your name.
My name is Jessica. I am his older sister. Oh, did you?
Go ahead.
Oh, my name is Jessica, and I'm his older sister.
Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Tanya. I'm Jay's girlfriend.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce each one of my siblings, and they'll be able to just have a little conversation with me, so you guys can better understand, who I am. I've been here for a long time, but I'm new to many people, so I want to be sure to introduce myself and where I'm from. But yeah, this is my sister Jessica and Tanya. Jessica and Tanya are very active in our city.
Yes, we
Um,
are.
what are you involved with, Tanya?
I'm part of the North Shore Pride Board. I'm part of Stop the Violence. I have grown up in Lynn all my life. Um, I get involved in all kind of types of free stuff for the kids, organize a lot of different activities for them. I'm just, whatever you need, I'm here.
Okay. And Jessica, why would you say that I'm the person to be the best next neighbor, mayor of Lynn?
You were just one of the most
Speak
understanding.
up.
You put me on the spot. You're just, I think you're a good candidate because I think you're really such a positive person. You put a lot out there in the community. This is something you've always worked hard for your whole entire life. I just think that, the fact that everybody loves you as well. And very family oriented and very just personable and just all that good. I'm just amazing overall. Multi talented, put it that way.
I appreciate you. I appreciate those kind words, and I appreciate you and all that you do. I have a niece that is your daughter, and I'm happy to be able to be a part of her life and to be there when she was born and help
You were there.
help bring her up before I
Yes,
had my
you
own
were.
kids.
Yes, you did.
But she's special. She also attends Lynn Public Schools, and it's important to me, and that's why education is important to me.
Oh, absolutely.
And I appreciate you both, and thank you for coming. Enjoy the festivities and food, and thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. So the next person I want to have come just chat with us is my brother Melvin and Rosanna. And again, they're gonna just talk about me and the person that I am, so you can get a better understanding. What a better person than a very competitive older brother, than to be honest with you, and just talk about me as a person, because it's important to have a representative that can relate to you and can understand you. So I'm gonna invite my brother and his wife up to sit with us as well. Malvin, Rosanna. So we have Melvin Satterwhite, not the Melvin Satterwhite, it's Melvin Satterwhite Jr. And we have Rosanna, my sister-in-law. Tell me your name.
I think you just introduced me. That's a little redundant there.
Okay, so how do you feel about my ride?
Well, I feel it's a little surprising, but you got me on camera nice and early since we just stepped in the building. I feel great about it. I think you're the best candidate out there, but that's coming from your big brother. So the only thing people can actually do is ask him questions. He's transparent. You get in touch with him. He's very responsive, and if you want to see something done, I can guarantee you that he'll look into it, and whether or not he can get it done, he'll be upfront about it and very transparent. That's the best quality about this young man.
And Rosanna, do you want to talk? You're not the shy type. Come on. No. Okay. So again, that's my brother Melvin and his wife Rosanna, and I appreciate those kind words. I appreciate you. I think that one of the key qualities of our relationship is if I'm ever doing anything or need support, I know you got my back, and that's important. And I think that goes without saying in our family that we support each other, and it's important to be transparent and open with one another. So I appreciate you.
That's how it works. That's how goals get accomplished and new ones get made.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Thank you.
I can't promise you he'll fix every issue right off the bat, but I'll tell you he'll listen to everybody's problems and address them. I can give you that much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Already.
Thank you. So that was my brother Melvin, and he's a little older, and he's a great influence in my life. So I want to thank him for coming and being a part of this as well. And I'm going to bring another person to talk, and give me 1 second. Thank you. So here we are, and we have the one and only Marcus and my wife Andrea. How are you?
Hi.
Say hi.
Say hi.
Can you wave? Can you blow kisses?
No kisses. No kisses. No, not today.
You want to come to daddy? So this is my wife. Say hi.
Hi.
What's your name?
Andrea Satterwhite.
And how long have you lived in Lynn?
Pretty much all my life. 32 years.
So 32 years of living. And the crazy thing about it is we didn't meet until, what would you say, 8 or 9 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you tell the story about how we met?
Oh. So I'm a nurse practitioner, but I was working at the time as a registered nurse. I did some home care, and his mom was sick at the time, and I was actually her nurse. So I met him in his house while I was working.
Let me draw the picture a little bit more clear for you. Okay. my mother had breast cancer in 2010, and after the surgery, she had an infection, so it required additional treatment. And Andrea worked for All Care, and she was stationed at my house. So my mom started yelling down from the upstairs. I was like, what does my mom want? So I walked downstairs in my boxers, and she was at the table with Andrea, and she told me to come here and to meet her. And I said, hi, Michael. And she said, hi, I'm Andrea, and I think we go to the same church. And I said, I don't know who you are. I've never seen you. And she had gone to my church all of her life, and she was in her nurse attire. So she probably had a long day, and I probably didn't recognize her from just that. But it was great because I asked her. I said, well, I haven't seen you in church. And she said, well, I haven't gone in a while. And so I invited her back, and she started coming back. And I took a trip to Portugal and brought her some port wine. And she didn't like it, but she sent me a text, and our romance blossomed as we took our first date at the Olive Garden.
Yep.
And the rest is history. But my mom, who is no longer with us, that's one of the things I wanted to have a moment of silence we will have later on today in memory of her. She was one of my biggest supporters, and was just a great influence in my life, and she brought us together. And we have kids that will live on, have that legacy live on. And I have Marcus and Anea and Ariana, but they are playing with other kids because they haven't been able to do that in a long time. So I just wanted to, so you're a nurse practitioner,
Yes.
and you grew up on Ray Street, near Opelite Street, right? And you're part of the Battle family?
Correct.
Your grandfather was Eddie Battle, and Amelia was your grandmother, and your father's the Pizzullo family. So you have the Italiano there, and it's great that you've had that huge foundation of giving back in your family, with your grandfather being the former Lynn president of the NAACP, and just being involved with everything. He was even a bodyguard for Martin Luther King, which is historic. But Eddie was a big person in the city, and he brought a lot of good things to the city. So, my wife and her family.
He was all about the community. So is Michael.
I appreciate that. I love you, and I want to thank you for opening up. She's done so much. I got so many signatures just from my wife getting up and going out, and she's all in. So I appreciate her, and if she reaches out to you, just know that it's going to get back to me, and I appreciate you being able to talk to her as well. I appreciate you. And thank you so much. I love you. And go get some food and have some fun. So the next one will be my parents. Yes. So we're gonna bring the one and only Melvin Satterwhite Sr. and Eileen Kennedy Satterwhite. Eileen has been my stepmother for most of my life. I call her Mommy. Okay, sorry. We're gonna go with Elizabeth and Wall and Tom Wall, my in-laws. Give me 1 second. Here we are. We have a little different background, but we have the great in-laws. Want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Beth Battle Wall. Hi.
I'm Tom Wall.
So Beth, it's weird because I call her mom, so I'm gonna call you mom.
Okay, no problem.
So yeah, you were born and raised in Lynn, right?
Absolutely.
You're from the
All
Battle
my life.
family?
From the Battle family. All six of my siblings.
All six of them.
Yeah.
Yep,
My mama
yep.
and my daddy, Eddie.
And Eddie, yeah, and you have that one brother,
One brother, Michael.
Michael, who everyone seems to know.
It's a sporting city, that's why.
And one of the funny things about it, I actually met Mike years before I even knew you or Andrea. He used to come to my aunt's house on Essex Street. And so I knew Mike Battle before I knew my wife. And you lived across the street from my cousin Ryan and my aunt Mo. And yeah, and it's crazy how small the city is and how you even knew my aunt before you met me. But just briefly, you're my mother-in-law, and mother-in-laws aren't supposed to get
Along with their son.
yes.
That is so true. So true. But so far from the truth.
But we get along.
Yes, absolutely.
Why do we get along?
Because he's amazing. He's amazing. And he's the son-in-law, one of my son-in-laws that everyone should have.
Oh, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And, and Tom?
Yes.
He's one of few words, but when we speak,
Yeah.
what do you think my qualities are that would be good for being mayor of the city of Lynn?
Well, you're very intelligent and you're caring and a sensitive man, and that'll help in your pursuit of this.
I appreciate it.
Yes, and you're very hardworking and you're self-made. You had to go through a lot to accomplish what you did.
A lot
And
that people don't know about.
a lot of people admire you because of that. So.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys. I thank you for taking your time to come and be with us tonight as we do what we can do with COVID. Obviously, normally we would have a big hall and we would be partying together, but we had to keep it very conservative and only invite family. But you both are vaccinated, which is great.
Yeah.
And
Yes, we are.
did you go to the tech site?
Yes, we did.
And
Yeah,
what was
the
your-
tech was awesome.
Yeah,
It
so
was very
so
organized. Nothing like they're saying on TV. It was
Yeah,
very
it
well
was
run.
Extremely well run, yes.
And you got the 2 doses? Yeah. And both times was great for you
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
Awesome.
Hardly any wait at all. They had plenty of people to help you if you didn't know
Good.
how to fill paperwork, etc.
Good. Awesome. So I'm glad you had a positive experience. I hope we have people that are encouraged to want to do that now that they heard it from you guys, because it's important. So I want to thank
Get
you.
vaccinated.
I want to thank you for coming and enjoy the food and the time here. I appreciate
Can I
it.
say one more
Thank
thing?
you. Of course.
He has an ear to listen, so if you have something to say, kind or otherwise, say it to him himself. He'll listen.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I love you guys.
Okay, bye.
So again, you don't normally have that interaction with in-laws, but I love my mother-in-law. She does so much for the family, and she's they're such a great in-law unit that I'm very happy to be a part of. So I'm gonna invite my parents to come up and speak. Again, you have the one and only Melly Mel, who my entire childhood, I swear I spent it at Breed or at other facilities throughout the city while he played basketball. And I played at every park in the city while my stepmom, I call her mommy, played softball in the women's softball league here in the city. So let me get them and give me 1 second. Okay. DJ said Mel and Queen Eileen. Okay, so here we go. So come over. Yeah, he's chomping on something, but here we go. We have the one and only Mommy, and we have.
I can't even see anybody yet.
Well, yeah, because we're on a panel, so you can't see them, but this is you, and this is what they're seeing. Okay.
Okay.
They can see you chewing. Yeah, yeah. So say your name.
Eileen Satterwhite.
And he's still chomping for some apparent reason, even though I told him he was going to be on next.
Melvin.
Okay, okay.
Senior.
Senior, yes, yes. So how long have you been in Lynn?
56 years.
You're both
Yeah,
born and raised in Lynn, right?
Born and raised.
And did you grow up on Radden Street? Was that the house you were
Yes.
born in?
I wasn't born in that house. I was born in Union Hospital. I'm sorry, Lynn Hospital, the old Lynn Hospital. Yeah,
Not too far apart. They're 6 days apart. And
Michael.
5.
5 days. I'm sorry, my math.
He's older.
So born and raised in Lynn, and you have a big family too. Beth said she had 6 siblings.
I had 7 siblings.
So you have
4 and 4.
4 and
4
4.
boys, 4 girls.
And do you know how many siblings you have? Yeah, there's
That I
many.
know of?
Yeah, that you know of. Yes.
There's 15 that I know of.
Okay, 15. So the family's big. So I was explaining to them earlier that you've been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. I was probably 3 or 4.
4
And
years old.
and I think it's only best to have people that know me the best to be able to speak to the voters so they can, know the quality of person that I am if I want to be their mayor. I think it's important for them. What do you think is a good quality that I have that I can bring to City Hall and to the city?
I think you'll get the job done, whatever it is, no matter what it is. You work hard, you care about the underdog, and you have always been like that. And we're so proud of you.
I appreciate
The
it.
man you've become and everything you've done. Yeah.
I second that.
You second that?
I'm not a big talker.
He's not a big talker. So yeah, I've been on the school committee now for 4 years, and it's been great. Yeah, we've been able to do a lot of work to improve just the school experience in general, and it's been great. Aside from that, you were there when I was younger, and Susan was just on earlier, and she endorsed the campaign and said some nice words. But there are 2 things I haven't spoken about, which is when I got the Teen Volunteer of the Year from Volunteers of America, and then the Citizenship and Community Service Award from the City of Lynn, when we got the All-Star tickets. Do you remember that?
Yes. I remember that.
But do you remember the trip we had to drive far to get the award, and we took Amy to get the Teen Volunteer of the Year from Volunteers of America? We had to go to some mall. That was a big mall, and there was a boy band, and Amy was in love with the boy band.
Yeah.
So
I forget where that was.
Was it Natick or
Yeah, it was West.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Western Mass.
Yeah, and that was a great experience. And then to get the Citizenship and Community Service Award was great. As a young kid, you guys were there when I was volunteering and giving back to the
Yeah,
community.
you always volunteered, and you always wanted to do something to make money. I'll vacuum.
Yeah.
Maybe $5. And
I cleaned the house a lot, and I got a lot of allowances. Yes. It was always
you were
fun.
always a go-getter, Michael. Always.
I appreciate
From
it.
the flea market to the,
With your Uncle Darrell to working with me.
Yeah.
McDonald's. And your first paycheck was from my job.
It was, yeah. My first physical paycheck. You had to deposit it.
Yep.
Hannaford and Dumas on Western Ave. That was
Minuteman Preston.
Minuteman Press at the time, which was on Western Ave, which is now, I believe, a hospital or a medical
Medical building.
So you've been there for a long time, and I appreciate you guys for always having my back no matter what. And
I remember you getting your work permit, taking you to get your work
Yes.
permit at 14. You were, oh God, you were so happy.
working has been a part of my fabric. It's something that, that I like doing. Hard workers. Hard workers. So I appreciate you guys, and I'll let you get back to your grub. I appreciate it. Thank you. I love you.
Love you.
Love you. Mwah. So that's my parents. For CJ, I'll say Queen Eileen and Melly Mel. They're great. They've been wonderful and been very influential in my life, and I'm happy that they're able to come and be a part of it. And the last relative I have will be my sister Jolene, and we're gonna make sure she's here in 2 seconds. I appreciate your patience during this. We're all new at this, so we're learning as we go. I do want to be. I think it would be not fair of me if I didn't mention the help from Franco, who is the first hire of the campaign, and he's the director of operations and the Lynn Tech graduate. And he's been very helpful today and getting together everything and just being on top of things. So it's great. Give me a second. I'll get Jolene in 1 minute. I made my rounds of the candidates that were running for office that were online. I unfortunately had one in person, and it's Lenny, who's running for school committee.
Best looking guy.
And the story about me and Lenny is I've known you for almost all of my life. You knew my mom, the late Brenda Beale, and you were a kid. I remember you on Essex Street, next to where I was at my aunt's house.
Essex.
You were yell out the window and talk to me. and now and now you're here. You're a great community leader, and you do a lot. And I just wanted to introduce you because you were here in person. I think it's only fair.
And I think you're a great community leader. You're a big asset to our city.
I appreciate you.
I watched you grow up, and I'm very proud of you. And
I appreciate
the
it.
city, you're going to do very good in our city. Bring
Thank
a lot
you.
to the table.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And so were you. Have a good one. Thank you. And now we have Jolene Satterwhite and her boyfriend, Chris. You can take it off if you want. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi.
Who am I saying hi to?
We're saying hi to whoever's participating on the event.
What are they saying?
But we're saying, we're talking. So I want to. You said your name, Jolene. I said your name.
Yes.
You're born and raised in Lynn, right?
Yes.
And
Lynn girl.
Lynn girl. And I think you only went to 3 schools as opposed to my 14.
Yeah. I was all on O'Callahan Way.
Yes, that was your joint. You had
Callahan, Breed, and Classical.
classical, and in classical, did you cheerlead at classical?
Yeah.
And you did swim
Yes.
for at least 1 year.
1 year.
1 year. Okay.
Yeah.
And you did the powder puff.
Mhm.
That was a fun event for you, right?
Yeah, I did like that.
Yeah.
I bring it up all the time. I always say I was a linebacker.
And we're 8 years apart in age, but we're very close, and we still are. It's my little baby sister, and I love her so much. But what I've been asking all my siblings is, what quality do you think I can bring to the city of Lynn if I'm mayor that would be good for the city?
You're organized. You're dependable. I love you. Sorry, this is my nightmare. Being on camera.
You're doing great. I appreciate it.
I wouldn't pick anyone else.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you. I love you. And
Yeah, I
Chris,
love
we've
you.
known each other for what, 4 years now? 5 years?
Probably
Almost
five.
five.
Probably five.
5 years. And do you concur with what my sister said about
Of
me?
course, yes.
I appreciate you guys and enjoy the food and the fun time that we're having.
You look sharp.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love you guys. Thank you. And we're gonna bring just my niece in 1 second. Here we are, and we have the great AVA, Ava Satterwhite. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So Ava, tell them a little bit about yourself. You went to
I
Joy
went-
Daycare,
Yes.
And that-
Met. I can't remember.
Donna Capola.
Yes. Great
So-
connections with her. Still, my mom still talks to her all the time.
And where do you go now?
I go to Boston College. Freshman at Boston College, studying psychology.
That's awesome. And Donna was involved with the family because mommy and daddy were teen parents. And Donna was a great influence in both mommy and daddy's life, right?
Yeah.
And she helped them a lot.
Helps a lot.
And Isaiah, which is my other nephew, spoke at one of the teen parent events in Boston.
Yes, he did.
And mommy did.
YPPF.
YPPF.
Yes. Yeah.
And mommy did too.
Yes, they both did. I wasn't there, but I know that my mom was a part of a program called YPPF, Young Parent Policy Fellows, just like another interactive program for teen parents, and they both spoke there.
And neither one of you or Isaiah are teen parents, so it
No.
worked.
Did work.
And Isaiah is not here because
He's in Atlanta. My brother Isaiah goes to Morehouse College. He's also studying psychology. He's a sophomore there. He's looking to get his doctorate, I believe, in the medical field, some type of, I don't know.
he's in Atlanta doing Morehouse and doing big things down there. And it's such to reflect on where we were, 21 years ago, and where we are today is amazing. And it's hard work and all that. And yeah, I loved being so involved in your childhood, and I know that, and you did too. I think I got so much involved that you would be singing Mariah Carey songs, right?
Oh, on the way here, I was listening to a Mariah Carey song, and I have multiple recordings of when I was a baby of Mariah Carey. She's infiltrated my playlist. So,
And that was we're saying Mariah Carey because I have
obsession.
I don't have an obsession. She's just a really good singer that I think is great. But you caught on to that. That's how often we were together.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the time.
So what do you want to do once you graduate?
I have no idea. I'm a people person. I love talking to people. I connect with people very easily, but I'm not sure what I want to do with psychology. It's just super interesting to me. Psychology, how the brain works, how people work.
And obviously, you know, I'm running for mayor. What qualities do you think I can bring to the city of Lynn as mayor?
You're very versatile. I come to him for just about anything. I know I can depend on him to give me an answer. Pretty straightforward. He knows a lot. Also an opportunist. I'm also an opportunist. I always go to him if I need recommendations. Again, very dependable. Very wholesome, very community driven. He loves everybody he interacts with. So
I love you. Thank you.
you.
Give me hugs. Thank you for coming. Go eat your food. I'll talk to you. Look who we have. Come on in.
Sorry.
That's okay. Don't worry. I'm actually filming, so why don't you come? Come say hi. So I'll push you over a little bit. So we have the one and only. Say your name.
Carlos.
And Damian.
And I appreciate you guys for coming. Thank you so much. You guys have a big event coming up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's tell the people that are watching what's going on.
We have a presentation tomorrow with the Public Properties Commission towards our Black Lives Matter mural.
So you wanna put a Black Lives Matter mural here in the city.
Yes.
Where do you want to put it?
Essex Street going down to City Hall.
So it'd be from the courthouse
Down
to
City Hall.
okay. So where you have the Balboa.
Oh, yeah. Right before the boat.
Okay, awesome. And how long have you been trying to do this for?
9 months.
9 months?
Yes, 9 months. Almost a year.
Almost a year.
Yeah.
And you never gave up.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. You guys kept on pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's important.
Yeah.
And it's important to this is an important thing for you to do.
Right.
You know, you might be young, but it doesn't mean you can't make a difference, right?
Exactly.
That's important. That's what if I learned anything from you. Yes. I met Carlos 4 years ago when he was so little. We went out to McDonald's and we went to Diamici's when it was Diamici's for to meet a couple times, just to talk about, you know, what you wanted to do, and it was great.
Yeah.
And I was able to meet your mom, who's wonderful,
Yes.
and I believe your little brother at McDonald's, he was there with your
Yeah.
nephew.
Yeah.
It's just been a very awesome seeing you both grow. You know, now you're getting college admissions. You have to make decisions. You have to make a decision soon, right?
I already actually made my decision. I'm just keeping it a secret for now.
Oh, you know, the suspense is up there. And did you make your decision?
Yes, and I made my decision.
Okay. Did you change it from what last time we spoke?
No.
Okay. But the program might be different because you said there are two that you might want to do.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the program might be a little different, but yeah. No, still everything has remained the same.
Okay. And for you this past year, how has the online learning experience been for you as students?
It's been stressful, especially like with mental health problems. I'm in my room 24/7. Plus my two other sisters who I have to keep in track that they're doing their work as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not only keeping up with my grades, I'm also keeping up with theirs. So it's a lot to juggle. So I think it's been easier since they went in like a few weeks ago because they're more concentrated in school instead of home.
And that's what happens when you have families that work. They have to go to work, and that leaves you there with your younger siblings. I can imagine that that's an issue for a lot of families in the city.
Exactly.
So, you know, that's great. Is your brother back in person, or you?
Yeah, so my brother is back in person, but during the time when he wasn't, I also had to juggle making sure he was awake and attending school, and then I was attending school, and then it is easier for him to be in person now, but I'm still personally still in remote. It's stressful. It's very difficult.
What do you think your first year or first semester of college is going to be like?
I'm hoping to go in for public health.
Okay.
So.
Do you think you're going to be able to go in person?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they told us that we can only go in. I almost gave it away where I was going. Most colleges have been saying that it can only go in if I'm vaccinated, and I already got vaccinated.
You did? Did you
Yes.
get the one or the two shots?
I got two.
Did you do it at Lynn Tech?
Yes.
Awesome. Did you get vaccinated yet?
I did get vaccinated.
Tech?
That time.
Okay. We had a couple. So my parents got vaccinated and my in-laws got vaccinated there, and they said it was a seamless experience. Was it pretty easy for you guys?
It's a very long process. But I understand the 30 minutes wait after getting vaccinated because I'm allergic to peanuts, so I can get a different reaction.
Yeah, yeah.
But the whole waiting in the line and then having to fill out all the paperwork and stuff, it kind of takes a while. After getting the second shot, it gets a bit shorter.
Yeah.
But it's understandable. It's something new.
Good, good. And I'm happy that you both are taking your part in that part and getting vaccinated. You know me a little bit longer.
Yes.
What the question I'm asking anyone is, what quality do you think that I have that would make me a good mayor for the city of Lynn? And you can
You're accessible. I mean, I call you and you answer, and then we figure out a way to personally in my experience, we figured out a way to the problem that I had, and that was with my team. We were trying to get the human rights curriculum implemented, and you were on top of it, and you said how I could help, and you were there. And then in other stuff, you've also been there. Giving that hand, you were like, what do you need? And you're accessible all the time. And I call you, and 10 out of 10 times if you go.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm excited. I can't wait for your big announcement. I hope you do something very fun for the people to to see. It's I can't wait to see it. I know you both have bright futures, and you're gonna do amazing work for just the world in general. So keep up just the positiveness and everything that you guys do, because it's appreciated. Okay. Thank you so much. Go get some food and enjoy your time.
Thank you.
Okay. So we're almost at the question and answer part. I think it's important to talk about that stuff. And give me just 1 second. Okay. So what I want to talk about now is just why Lynn is so important to me, and I think it's important to many of you that are watching tonight. But Lynn is important to me because Lynn has been my home. I use the word home because home is a place where one lives as a member of a family. I use the word home because growing up on Vine Street, we had an internal neighborhood watch, and every family worked to keep the other family's kids out of trouble. I use the word home because of people like Shannon Gaffey, who was a neighbor of ours on Trinity Ave. And she opened her doors for me to talk, to eat, and play at her house. She would even drive us home from Ingalls after we moved from next door to her house. Shannon was an amazing person who I lost contact with as I got older. But you have that missing piece, like in your heart, where you're like, I wonder what happened. And I always looked for Shannon. I looked to see if she still owned the house, and she didn't. And finally, one day I was at church, and one of my friend's mom asked if I lived on Trinity Ave at one point. And I said, yeah, I lived with my mom when I was younger. And she said, did you have a neighbor that you used to go over her house? I'm like, yeah. And she said, well, that's my cousin, Shannon. She's been wondering about you and, worrying about you. And she just wanted to know, like, what came of you. And so I reconnected with Shannon, and it was amazing. And she has a son, Michael, who I reconnected with as well. And Shannon actually came to my wedding, and it was great to reconnect and just tell her how great she made a part of my life, because it was a part where, my mom was going through a lot, and I had a safe house to go to and to speak to someone. And that's what Lynn is. I can name many instances of where someone opened their door of their house and their family to me and just showed love. And even after moving, if it was raining, she'd say, get in her minivan, and she'd drive us to our house. And that was such a great experience. And that's why I use the word home. I use the word home because of teachers like Miss Gaines, Miss Clancy, Miss Reynolds and Miss Donovan, my elementary school teachers who went above and beyond during some of my toughest transitions and treated me like family. I use the word home because of my very large and blended family, from the Satterwhites to the Beals, the Kennedys to the Quintanas to the Fernandes, from the Marstons to the Spragues to the Hernandos, from the Tylers to the Thomases to the Paynes, from the Pizzulos to the Battles to the Walls, the many culture, races, and that Lynn has to offer, I've been a part of. I use the word home because this is where I've built my small business and where my clients have become my family. I use the word home because I have always worked to put a positive impact on our city. From Teen Volunteer of the Year to my Citizenship and Community Service Award from the city, I have been a part of a team of people who built our communities up and fought against those looking to tear them down. I use the word home because my involvement in our city is personal. I've experienced most of my challenges, and they are the same challenges that we're experiencing as a city. From housing insecurity, to food insecurity, to addiction, to mental health. I've experienced that. That's a part of my life. It's what I know. We need someone in our house that understands these things. I use the word home because we come together when we're in need. From fire victims to our homeless to our youth, we have amazing organizations in our communities fighting for our success. I use the word home because Lynn is not for sale. I know we have to work. I know we have a lot to do. We have not given up. We have to protect our resources. We have to build up our people. We have to improve our relations. Our home has tremendous potential, and I'm here to break through the barriers. I'm here to be a voice for you. When I say that, I mean that. That's why I decided to run, because I care. I care so very much for the city. And I have the experience, I have the background, I have the knowledge. The website is www.masforlynn.com. And you have just my path to candidacy. And you can see just the different detailed experiences that I bring, the knowledge that I bring. And I think that's important. It's very important for our city to have someone with a vision that includes your voice. So I'm going to take some questions and we'll do some answers. Oh, thank you, Shannon. I appreciate it. And I wanted to tell people about you and just how important you are. So let's do some question and answers. Am I in favor of bringing the blue line to Lynn? I'm in favor. Is it going to happen? I don't know. I think that any accessible means of transportation is important. I spoke to the Senior Action Committee in Lynn just last week, and one of the things we talked about was accessibility in our city and how it's hard. And then we spoke about just in general how it's just difficult for people to get in to Lynn. The commuter rail doesn't run as frequent, it's expensive. There are things like that come into play when people are deciding where to go. And when we have events like Beyond Walls, and I spoke to a few people about doing, like a food type event where we have food from around the world from all of our restaurants in the city, and we put them all in one great location for people to sample and be a part of. Well, we need to have transportation for people to get here. So the blue line would be great. I typically, when I have to go into Boston, drive to Wonderland and get on the train and take it from there. I don't normally park in Lynn to take the commuter rail in. The blue line just has more accessibility to the other connecting lines, and I'm in favor of it. I know that we have some people working at the federal level and the state level to make it happen, but it's definitely something that we have to look into. We have another question. about what are your views about the funding of police that has been talked about both locally and nationally. Are you in favor or against this idea? I think that defunding the police is the wrong statement to make. I think that police play a very important role in our community. Uh, they're not the beginning and the end to a situation. I think that the police get involved, and should get involved with particular situations. But I have examples of where, I've had a relative with a mental health breakdown, and I didn't know what to do but call the police. And when the police came, I had to advise them that my relative was dealing with a mental health illness, and that typically, they get through it. Had there been a social worker or someone with mental health experience there, that could have been very helpful to tone the situation down. So I think that we have to be smart about the funding of our police, but I think that they play an important role, and I think that they need to play a more community-facing role, one that obviously involves them being involved with the community. We had the Stop Asian Hate rally on the Commons just a few weeks ago, and I saw multiple teachers and guidance counselors and social workers from the school department there to show their support for the students that are Asian. I think that that's important. They don't get paid to do that, but they come out because they're a part of the community. And I think that's an important function that we need to see more often. I bought the house that we currently live in from a police officer, Rob Royce, and he was great to work with. And I know that we had a connection because he was the football coach for my younger cousin, Eusebio, who played football through Classical. But Rob had that forward-facing community role, which was great, and it's wonderful. I have a lot of family friends that are in the police force that do wonderful things for the community. I can think of the O'Tools, the Magnus, John White, who initially worked with my dad at Hannaford and Dumas before becoming a police officer. So we have a lot of good police people doing the work in the city, and we have to make sure that we don't forget the important work that they do. But we definitely need to look at just the way we fund certain aspects of policing to be assured that the resources are going to stop in the situations that obviously arise to the multiple calls that they get. And sometimes it's drugs, sometimes it's mental health, sometimes it's other things that we should definitely have a beginning and end point where someone can get the help that they need. Melissa, you recently lost a friend to heroin. Many people suffer from addiction. My mother suffered from addiction. It was a huge struggle for her, but she got clean when we needed her. My mother was involved in a relationship with the love of her life, Nelson, who was unfortunately murdered in 1990. He went to a party and someone stabbed him to death. And I remember my mom getting the call, and she was terrorized by it. She went into a huge depression, and that, coupled with her mental health, obviously caused her to seek a way to cope differently, and that was through drugs. So there was many things she missed in life, but when I needed her the most, when I was 16 and suffering housing insecurity, she was going through drug court, and she was going through a rehab program at Project Hope, and she was getting the help she needed. And she struggled, but she was when she was on her deathbed and we were talking. One of the things she said she was proud of was to be able to say that she was clean, and she was able to be there to witness me having my kids and my brother having his kids, and to be an influential person in their lives. My kids still talk about Nana, and I miss her every day because she played a very vital role, but we have to have more relationships with the nonprofits and organizations throughout the city that are combating drug and mental health issues. We need to be, they can't be a secret anymore. We have to work collaboratively with them and make sure that we're doing what we need to do to for people to know that there's help out there. I know that Lynn's a transient place, and a lot of people come here when they're transitioning in life and might be dealing with drugs or mental health illnesses, and so what they lack is that family component. So we have to look and find ways to make sure that our nonprofits are working on that particular function as well. I speak to, and I've been a part of many nonprofits in our city that deal with this issue. And it's just with COVID, we've witnessed the many inequities that we've seen in our city. And one of the things is we don't talk enough about mental health, and that's something that we have to talk about, as well as drug use and drug abuse. So I'm sorry about your friend Melissa, and you're going to have someone in that office that it's personally impacted, and I'm going to work to make sure that we're helping those that need and want the help. What will I do on day one as mayor of Lynn? I'm gonna, behind Cecilia, I'm gonna open the door and make sure people understand that it's literally it's an open door. I'm gonna let people know that I'm there to listen and there to to be an ally. I'm gonna have to make tough decisions that won't please everybody, and that's understandable. But I'm gonna explain why I came to that decision, and it's going to be based on data. It's not going to be based on any personal favors or anything like that. It's going to be based literally on what will benefit the greater population of our city, and that's what's important. So on day one, I'm going to obviously look at the budget, see where we're focusing our city resources on. I'm going to look at what we're doing and what the mission is for each department, and make sure that we're on mission. We have these departments to offer services to our city, our residents, and I want to make sure that we're actually doing that. So I that's very important, and we need to review the forensic analysis that Mayor McGee did when he first got into office, to make sure that we're not falling into the same mistakes of the past, because we had to borrow $14 million not too long ago. We had to hire. It was a requirement from the state to hire a CFO. It wasn't the council or the mayor that decided that. If we borrowed that $14 million, we needed to do certain things. So the CFO obviously came in, and he's been the person that the councilors and the mayor has gone to make sure that we're adequately funded, and our money's going where it needs to go according to what the state had dictated. So, after borrowing this money and then COVID, and now we have a huge amount of federal funds coming in, we're going to need to make sure that we have someone that knows how to manage money, that didn't get us in this predicament. And I'm that person. I have experience. If you came to the event, which was only open to family, you'll see that we're at the old Haywood's restaurant. So we made menus, which is a voice for you. And within it, you have just the different things about me. So I have 18 years of budget experience on the department level, corporate level, and government level. I was a supervisor at the first law practice that I worked at, and I had a department budget that I had to manage. So you have a mayor that can sit with each department for them to have a better understanding on what their budget should look like. You have the corporate level, which is a larger one than the department level, but that's the small businesses. I have a budget at my practice. It's important. I know what it is to make payroll. So we have to keep that in mind when we're working with small businesses, to make sure that we're not, scaring them away from the city. We want to bring good paying jobs to the city. We want to bring responsible employers to the city. So we need a mayor that understands that part. And then the government level, being on the school committee, we manage one of the largest budgets in the city. And it's something that we do collaboratively with the superintendent and our business manager. And that's an important function to have. So you have at 18 years of experience at different levels, which will obviously bring goodness to the city. A good mayor is a good leader. I have 16 years of management experience, both in business, law, and real estate. You know, these three components are very important in our city, and you want someone with a wealth of knowledge in these areas to be able to understand the community as a whole. And as you know, from Susan Warnick earlier, I have 25 years of volunteer experience here in our city. With seniors, with youth, and with families. Those are the three core components of where I've put my time, because it's important. It's important. I want to be a voice for you, and that's going to be by building. We need to build a just and equitable recovery, setting forth in motion a solid and sustainable plan that will help our city avoid the many short-term crises we have had to work through in the past. It's going to start with investing. We do invest in small businesses, workforce development, infrastructure, and local jobs. Funding. We need to fund our schools. We need to make sure that our school budgets are equitably funded, and we need to ensure that our transportation and special education is a priority in our schools. Assuring. I want to assure that the services our community are taxed for are high quality, accessible, and equitably funded. We need to make sure that our parks, our public education, our street cleanups, our trash, etc., anything that impacts your day-to-day, we need to make sure that it's of high quality. Those are the things that I think are important for the city. And that's how I'm going to separate myself from the two other candidates. You know, I have relationships with both. I serve on the school committee with Jarrett Nicholson. He's an attorney just like me. His wife is a nurse practitioner just like my wife. I serve on the policy subcommittee with Jarrett. I bring a different type of experience than Jarrett would bring. I'm also a Lynn kid. I think that's extremely important for someone to have that perspective. And I know I can bring that, and I have you know, some things in common with Darren. Darren he's been involved with the city council for some time. His sister-in-law is Deborah McManus, who was my aunt Kathy's best friend growing up. So you know, Lynn is a small city. We all know someone, so it's important to know that and to understand that. So what I'll bring is the track record of what I've done and that in my experience, and Darren will bring his experience, and we'll see just the different type of experiences that him and I will bring to this job. So I think that's important. Anyone willing to want to do good for the city is an ally of mine, and I appreciate them because I love my city. Like I said, Lynn is my home. Lynn is my home. So I don't see any other questions. Let me see here.
I'm gonna get them ready.
I'm sorry, Charles. I just saw your question. It's not in this Q&A section. So investing in our youth is extremely important. Like I said earlier, one of the things that COVID unfortunately showed was the inequities that our city faces. And we had many youth that went to public schools that couldn't play sports. They had missed opportunities to play in front of a school that they could get into and get a scholarship or to interact with other people. You know, we just had 2 Lynn public school students just talking. One of the things they spoke about that they had to deal with was mental health issues. And I know that we're going to have a big emphasis with the additional funds that we're going to get from the federal government, and that's with social workers in our schools, because we need to deal with the mental health and what that's going to do with it. But we need to give them opportunities. We need to make sure that they have the ability to do things in our city, to not feel like they're a burden. If they want to play basketball, let's give them the opportunity to play basketball. If they want to play football, let's give them the opportunity to play football. If they want to draw or sing or do anything, it's important to give them the ability to do these things, because it's important. Our kids are our future, and that's been my slogan before I got into politics. You know, my law firm slogan was our community is our business, and as mayor, it's going to be the same one. Without you, there's no me. There's no mayor. Without the people, there's no city. So it's important for that, and to understand that. So I'll never forget our kids and our youth. Yeah, I was a kid. I played Cup One football. I played, Little League, Eastland Little League. So, it was important to me, and I know it's important to many people. So we have about 2 more minutes of question and answers, and then we're just I'm gonna make my announcement to the people here, to my family, and I'm gonna let you guys witness that. And again, this is a safe place for you to come and speak to me. Okay, I have the outdoor section that I'll sit with you for as long as possible to talk about your concerns. If all the coaches want to come together and have a discussion, I'm open for that. If all the nonprofit organizations want to come together and talk with me, I have the space, I have the time. Your voice matters. And if if the weather's bad, I have the inside space. I want to talk to you. So don't feel like you're a burden or that you're not used to this. But this is the way a city government's supposed to be run. If you go to Everett, you walk in, there's a mayoral office where you can speak to someone in the mayor's office right away. It's crazy that we don't have stuff like that. We don't have a senior center. Any surrounding city or town around us has a senior center. We have to do something different. We have to do something different.
Where? Where?
The first one. Oh, this one's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, your candidate for mayor, Michael Satterwhite.
First, I want to thank you all for coming and being a part of this event. I think that it's important for you to be a part of this because you're a part of me. And earlier I spoke to the people that are watching online about why Lynn is so important to me. I pretty much said that Lynn is my home. It's been my home, and it's a place that I care so much about, and that's why I decided to run and to help be the person that they need in the mayor's office, a person that can give them a voice, a person that has the experience, the background, the knowledge to do so many things that the city might be afraid to do. It's important. We have many people that want to do what's best for the city, but they don't have an outlet to go and talk to. And I want to be that person. I want to be that mayor. I want to give hope to the youth. I want them to know that they can be a kid that grew up on Vine Street and work their way to be the mayor on City Hall Square. Yeah, it doesn't matter where you were born, where you lived. It just matters what you bring to the table. And that's what's extremely important, what you bring to the table. And I'm so grateful for my family and friends to be here, to be able to just talk about the different qualities that I can bring to the table. I heard patience. I heard many different qualities that I would be so grateful for a mayor to have. And I'm happy that those are the things that you see in me. I think that we owe it to the residents of Lynn to have a mayor like that. And I hope to be that person that brings that to work every single day. I want to thank my wife, Andrea, and my three kids, Anea, Ariana, and Marcus. I want to thank my best of friends, David Ruff and Phil and Nicole. I spoke about earlier about Nicole and her mom reunited me with Shannon, the one who lived next door to us when we lived on Trinity Ave, and how that was such a strange situation, but it really helped me reconnect with someone that was important in my life. So thank you, Nicole. I want to thank my sister Jessica and her girlfriend Tanya. I want to thank my brother Melvin, Anna. I want to thank my dad and my mummy. I want to thank my mother-in-law Beth and my father-in-law Tom. I do have a father-in-law that's not here, Rick Pizzulo, but I want to definitely thank him. And who's like my in-laws, Laurie and Tom Weddleton. You guys are always there, and I appreciate you. My little sister Jolene, I can't forget her, and Chris. And my nieces Shikari and Ava and Logic. I want to just thank you guys for being here. And again, I mean it when I say I want to be a voice for you. Sorry, I didn't say. I said Anaya. My nieces. Oh, sorry. sorry, I didn't say it. And my nephew Melvin the third. I do want to just briefly talk about the person that's not here, and a person that is very special to me, and that's my mother, Brenda Beal. She was such a person that would encourage me to do whatever my heart desired, and I know that she would be texting me every day. She'd be knocking on every door. She'd be handing out everything that I had, because that was the type of mom that I had. And I want to just have a moment of silence for her and her memory, and we'll end the celebration, but just a brief moment in memory of my mom. Thank you all. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, Franklin, for always being there and being there. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Franco!
Franco! And to my sister-in-laws, Christina and Melissa. I love you guys.